ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I gotta tell you, it never really gets old doing that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Connor. You are currently listening to none other than Connor Talks Games, your one-way stop for all things involving games, more games, and unlimited bacon, but no video games. So, not too long ago, and we're just gonna get right into it because honestly, there's a lot I want to talk about. About 2 weeks ago, I had the wonderful opportunity to go to PAX East. And I gotta say, we're going to PAX for about 3 to 4 years now. This was probably the most productive one I've ever had to date. Got a lot of networking in, saw some pretty cool games, checked out a couple of booths, and I gotta say, all in all, not bad at all. But why don't we talk a little bit about that? So, for starters, let's kind of address like the 4 days as a whole and how that kind of went. So ended up getting a hotel with my buddy. We based out in by the airport. Nice little embassy suite. It was pretty good. And yeah, I told myself, I want to be able to sleep in. I don't want to have to take the train from Worcester. I want to be able to enjoy my the morning stroll, I guess. Because with the train, you gotta like get up at a certain time and you have to move out. Otherwise, if you miss it, you have to wait like an hour, and that's not including to actually get into Boston. And don't even get me started on having to be constrained to the train schedule if you want to get there at like midnight or you want to leave at a certain time. It's just it's not good. But I was able to show up this time around at like a comfortable pace, and it was pretty nice. So the first day, I went in with the expectation that, all right, this is patrol day. I want to, go around, check out some booths, chat up a couple of devs. Maybe, just maybe, I might send out some business cards. But really, I just want to get my shopping out of the way. So I bought a lot of cool shit. Got a couple of shirts. Picked up the VTuber card game. I have 4 unopened booster packs for here, let me grab them both. Actually, the Hololive one. Yeah, so we got the Pipkin Pippa starter deck and the Tenma Mamie. Mamie. It's the fox trick. I'm not great with names, but I digress. What are you gonna do? So pre-constructed deck, yeah, it's 2 pre-constructed decks that come with the VTubers. Christ, I'm actually gonna get punched in the balls at some point because I'm just unable to pronounce names correctly, guys. I'm telling you, it's not my fault. I'm just halfway insane and going down the gutter. Please don't hurt me, I swear. But I picked up that. I played Animo. I actually got this bag from them at the convention. They gave it out for free, and I'm like, that's mine now. They gave me a holographic card on top of that. I picked up a Acheron bomber jacket from Honkai Star Rail by M. Rage. They normally I don't usually pick up the expensive jackets because I got my nice black sports jacket. I like wearing that everywhere. It's a comfortable thing. But I saw Acheron is probably one of my all-time favorite Honkai Star Rail characters up there with like Jing Liu and another one. But I saw the jacket. The jacket was pretty fucking cool, so I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's go for it. It's pretty neat. It's got a lot of straps. There's a lot of pockets. It was actually convenient to get around in certain areas in that respect. But we made it work, and that's all that really matters. It was a nice jacket too, very snazzy. I picked up a professional card holder as well while I was getting ready to go, because obviously you ain't gonna see me going there if I don't have a professional card holder, because I gotta get my cards. But the one thing I will say, after that, I want to say about 2 p.m. I was kind of just sitting with my friend, picked up some boba, and I just felt so fucking sick. I don't know what came over me. I was nauseous. I wasn't feeling good. I felt like ass. And then I get up and I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So I had my friend bring me back to the hotel, and I get up there and I vomit in the toilet all over the place. It was not pretty. Cleaned it up to the best I could, flushed it down the toilet, and I passed out. Then the day afterwards, I proceeded. No, not actually, excuse me. Not the day afterwards. Like a couple hours later, I woke up, blew out both ends, went back to sleep, woke up again, and this time I read about 2 pages of the Golden Age arc from Berserk, and I was ready to rumble. For reference, I have the deluxe edition of the Berserk manga. Brought it with me because I actually have never read Berserk before. I've seen a lot about it, and it's probably one of my inspirations for just current like writing projects. But that one in particular got me back on my track, which I just think is so funny in consideration that, people say normally you don't want to read that in entirety in like one sitting, but I'm a messed up. I like my grimdark. I like fucked up shit. Give it to me. By the way, Metro 2039. Haven't played a Metro game in a hot second, but that one in particular with the trailer, yeah, I fuck with it. That was peak cinema right there. I like that. I like that a lot. But so day one was spent recuperating from sickness, and I mapped out a couple of boots. And so there were 3 boots the day after that that I wanted to plant my flag on. The first one was I wanted to check out the Boston game dev booth because, there are 4 very cool games that were out there. There was let's see, there was Normal Horse with Nocturnum. There was Int, Circle Games, and then fuck, I forgot the last 2, but those are the ones for the sake of the story that I remember particularly. On top of that, there was Area 34 with Tiny Metal 2, which I apparently it was inspired based off of Advance Wars, and I gotta agree with that. It's very cool. I liked it. Animations go Burt. Who doesn't like that? But heavy metal is probably my favorite tank in that one, but we're getting around to that. And lastly, the Animo booth, which had the I mean, I know there's a way to describe it, but for me, I just thought it's like if you took Pokemon, but you put more of an emphasis on fusing and beating the shit out of things one on one, which I fuck with that. So it was pretty funny. It was pretty fucking funny. Finally, uh there was Red Star Interactive, who were the amazing people behind Gnaw, which is this funny little Metroidvania where it's like a marriage of the noir with the Metroidvania department, and you're just going around and doing all kinds of fun shit. But you know, so we walked around a little bit, chatted up some people. I had my wingman Pablo with me the entire time, so he was kind of going around. But I was scoping out, boots and stuff. And then on top of that, I wanted to just check out maybe some of the other like minor things. Like an area on the second day I checked out was this booth called Gundak. Gundak. It's people at Chaotic Great who made this it's chess, but it looks cuter, I guess, or more violent. It's like a fun little card game with really cool card art that is pretty neat. I played a couple rounds, got some pins to show for it as well. But yeah, that was pretty neat. But day 2 is kind of spent just planting myself. Now let's get to day 3, obviously, because that's kind of where I want to talk about it. So day 3 rolls around, and I want to say so the day before, um, I was at the Tiny Metal 2 booth with my friend, and we played it. We did not beat the level, but but get this, right? I ran into the big man himself, the CEO of Area 34. The guy who not only has a symphony group based out in Australia, but also worked as a one of the devs on Halo Anniversary, which I thought was absolute insanity. Now, this man, in case you do not know, and I'm totally not trying to struggle to remember his name, totally not. Pizza is actually usually pretty good. I will say, depending on the day of the week. Nah, okay, okay. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that when I remember. But let's talk about Boston real quick. So the Boston Game Devs moves. So there were two in particular that really stuck out to me. Of the Devil, which is a, as they describe it, episodic cyberpunk murder mystery game with a lot of inspiration from Ace Attorney. I saw some comparisons drawn to Valhalla, but on top of that, it also has, and this is my favorite, gambling motifs. You know how fun it is to raise in a blackjack setting the livelihood of somebody else who is being convicted of murder? Because let me tell you, it's pretty fucking funny. And I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I had the chance to play the longer form demo on Steam. The one that they showed at PAX was a like short 15-minute one, but I was pretty hooked on it. I mean, they had a JoJo reference in it for frack's sake, so who the fuck wouldn't really want to go in there and vibe a little bit. But so that was one. I met the developer on that one, Bug. Really nice person. They were very passionate about the project. Bug, if you're listening to this, dab me up. Seriously, would love to continue the conversation. We never really actually ended up continuing to continue it, but I digress. But let's talk about my other one. So I will say my favorite game though at that booth, and these were some kick ass fucking people. Love talking to them. Were the people at Simple Horse Games. Now you got to ask yourself who are the people at Simple Horse Games? Well, I will tell you. They are, I believe actually there's more than two, but at the time there was I met both of the co-founders, Sienna, Nolan, two people who are creating what I can only describe as like this I think as Nolan actually put it, it's like kind of a harmonization of some of like the horde shooter mechanics from Helldivers and Deep Rock with a more or less extraction based mode to it. So you load into an area with your predestined loadout, you go around, collect loot, complete objectives, unlock more items, discover more loot, and then you get back and call it a day. There's also a dog, and demons are invading, and everything is going to hell. And quite frankly, you don't have enough bullets. Like, really, you do not have anywhere near enough bullets at all. But what are you gonna do? It's all fun and games till stuff kind of kicks off, I guess. Now then, let me actually circle back real quick. That okay, we got him. All right, Mr. Hiroyaki Europe is the fine gentleman who is the CEO of none other than Area 35. I was saying Area 34 this entire time. That's the publishing company. I am a fake fan. Please do not hurt me. Now, a little bit of context on Mr. Europe. He's the founder and music director of the Eminence Symphony Orchestra based out in Australia. He has worked on various titles, including Diablo 3, Soul Calibur 5, and I Am Setsuna. And of course, the guy recognizes the potential vast value for Japanese CG production, and he spearheads Safe House, which is a entertainment-based company. So, you know, you gotta have a little bit of that with a little bit of this, as they say. But the guy was heavily inspired off of none other than this little thing called Advance Wars, which is intelligence systems, kind of like modern day Fire Emblem. But I mean, the big thing I will say that Tiny Metal has going for it is that it is a very visually distinctive game that I enjoy. It's got cool animations. It's got characters that I actually okay. Here, give me 1 second. I gotta go get the cards. I swear to God, it'll just be a minute. It might be. Hold on. So when I was at the booth, they were giving out these cards if you beat one part of the demo, or you just play it in general. But I beat all three of it, or well, all three of it. I got all the cards here. So my favorite character from that is Kohaku. I really like her commander power, which gives all units extra critical chance and the +1 to move. That's actually something that I really enjoy about the game is there are commanders that have abilities that pay really heavily into certain playstyles. I have always enjoyed being incredibly aggressive, and I like how the game rewards that. You have to capture buildings and production-based facilities in order to do things, and honestly, that was pretty great. Uh, I was at the Animo booth. So funny story about that one actually. I went there on day 2 and I came back about 2 or 3 times kind of every time without fail. And honestly, it was pretty fun each time. They give you like this little stamp card that you get in which you stamp a thing for like following and also taking a photo with some people and just playing the game in general, which, obviously they had a gotcha machine, the one that gives out it's got the little balls in it that you put the coin in and you flip it and it does all that. I don't know about you, but I'm a fucking whore for that shit. So I don't know, 6 dozen that, half a dozen the other. Bada boom, bada bing. You gotta work with it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But it was pretty neat. I enjoyed playing it a little bit, and honestly, this is just kind of me personally. But there is that dev team. I talked to 2 people actually from their Trella. You're listening to this, by the way. Would love to continue our conversation from PAX and Victor, of course, 2 very passionate people on the project, both of which whom I kind of just ran into and we were talking a little bit. But it was funny because Victor, I ran into that guy on like the second day and I was talking with him. He came up to me and we were chatting away. He asked me what I was playing at the time, and my dear viewers, you know me. I play literally fucking everything under the sun. Why? Because I love video games, and quite frankly, I'm absolutely batshit insane, would probably do 27 lines of coke. But that's not the point. The point is, it was fun, and I enjoyed it. And when I ran into those devs again at day 4, it was 30 minutes to closing, and the guy was just out there, and we had a wonderfully productive conversation once again on top of that. Honestly, that was pretty good. One thing I will also kind of add on top of that, and this is just like a me thing personally. If you have followed my LinkedIn or you checked out, I had a small reference in which I pretty much said, thank you to all the devs from Poland, China, and Japan because, I mean, I work in the States, right? It's not really like I'm making a lot of crazy things, but being able to see how meticulous people are in other countries with their game design philosophy, just, it's genuinely enjoyment. Because I mean, I have my way of doing things, but have people in Japan and China, the entire Asian sector in general, when it comes to making games, they're very meticulous with their design. They're very cool with it. Chinese game development in particular has always been a bit of a fascination for me because I mean, you have Black Myth Wukong and you have Hoyo, but at least for me, I didn't see much. But Paw Print Studio, the people that are currently making this new game, in my opinion, have what it takes to maybe hopefully shake it up a little bit. Ooh, just drinking some water, excuse me. But that wasn't the only devs we talked to. So as I've mentioned, there were 2 people at what's its face, the Games from Poland booth, and the fun thing about the Games from Poland booth is that they had a lot of people who they were very passionate about the game from Poland, but 2 of the games, was Tainted Grail Avalon and Valor Mortis. Now, I was not able to play Valor Mortis, but I had a wonderful conversation with a developer from One More Level, and he was, talking about how it is a Souls-like, but it is the first kind of Souls-like with a first-person feel to it. And, he was telling me about the design philosophy with how you can kind of move. How do you kind of create something? There's not a reference point in that area. And in my opinion, that's my favorite type of development is when you don't have a reference point because you have to really just think outside the box and you're kind of the trailblazer that sets it. Will there be more people down the line that probably make games similar to Valor Mortis in the first person perspective, but they do better things because they use that as blueprint? Yeah, but to me, it's really cool that One More Level is developing something that, on top of it being, you're killing French zombies, which who doesn't want to do that? I mean, you're playing a British guy for crying out loud. You are going around and kind of running and doing all that smooth jazz. But on top of that, those are the people behind Ghost Runner. And I don't know about you, but Ghost Runner, that's a pretty cool fucking game. But that was one of the devs on that. Now the other one, Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon, is what many people consider to be the indie game that was better than any of the Elder Scrolls games that came out. I consider it personally to be better than Skyrim in some areas, and particularly it has the one thing that I really love. It has fucking magic that hits like a truck. Like, dude, do you have any idea how cool? Like, I was talking with one of the devs at Questline, right? And again, very passionate fellow, but he was talking about how they created this unique magic system that does very if you they wanted to feel like, I hit you with a great sword, but if I charge a fireball and shoot you with it, you're gonna feel that. And not only are you gonna feel that, you're gonna catch on fire. You're gonna fucking go all over the place. And I gotta tell you something, that was fucking awesome. Like, seriously, I love feedback in my video games. Like, I want to feel when I fucking blow your head off. I want to feel when I ram my sword in your gut. Okay, this is a family-friendly show. I'm saying that as I'm swearing like a fucking sailor. Fuck, bitch ass. Yeah, I know. All the fun words that we're catching today. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to hell. Anyway, nah, it was fun. I think the magic was more developed than the melee, but that's just me. I only played, I want to say, about 30 minutes on the DLC, so not like the most crazy. But at the end of the day, it's neat, and I really liked it. I'm like trying to think now. So something that I will say, like about PAX that I'm getting a little worried about is there's less and less of a AAA presence. This particular year, there was maybe Nintendo, and that was kind of it, really. They had Nintendo. That's about it, honestly. It's like a 3-hour wait just to play the latest fucking Nintendo game, which, yeah, I'm gonna be real here. No, thank you, Chief. I am not that insane. I like to live. I do not want to do that, and I sure as shit do not want to bother because it's Pokemon, and I don't have anything against Pokemon, but it's Pokemon. Now, obviously, I've been saying this for a while now, and it's just a fact of life. I'm not in the AAA industry right now, which is why it's not doing too good. If I were in there, I'd fix that shit lickety split, but I'm not, making indie games at Cyclone right now, and I love that. Maybe that's where I'm destined to be, but you know me. My aspirations at the end of the day are AAA, and I'd love to be able to do that. Watch my aspirations video, by the way, if you're curious about that. What do you think? Winged Tyranid Prime that I bought for $20 and you smell like sugar. I don't know why. He's already been slap chopped too, which is funny to me. Maybe I'll send a picture in the chat later if I end up eventually painting you. Fun fact actually about Connor. Massive fan of High Fleet Kronos from Warhammer. That's kind of just my go-to, really. And yeah, I like that. That's how it is. Utter insanity. Now, I'd like to take the last 5 minutes actually to talk about why, in my opinion, I think PAX is probably one of the best sort of areas to go. And really, it's uh it's one reason and one reason only. PAX East is the closest you're gonna get to the indie devs and the bigger devs without needing to drop what is the equivalent of a nuclear silo in War Treasure just to be able to go. Like GDC, Game Developers Conference, it's great, but it feels very high stakes with the price tag that comes with it. And on top of that, I mean, San Francisco is not a cheap area to buy food or hotel in. And that's a couple of days, not including Ubers, food, and whatever else. Or you could just drive. But I mean, are you going to drive? No one's going to drive. You insane? And then someone's going to be in the chat and they're going to be like, hey, Connor, I drove. And I'm going to say to that, if you're the person who keeps asking me about my favorite VTuber, there's a window in front of me. I want you to jump out of it. But no, take it from me. Look, they don't bite. They just have a lot of people. Plan out your approach. Be methodical. Don't be afraid to get out there and talk to them. There are so many indie game devs that just love to talk about their game. All right. Let me give you Connor's Crash Course 101 on how to talk to an indie dev. Step 1, go up to their game. Step 2, play their game. Step 3, say something you like about the game. Ask about it, the piece of design, or just anything that you like. They tell you a little bit about it, and you just go from there. Is this a surefire way? Fuck no. But it's a possibility, and maybe one that you should consider. Man, what I would not do for a Twinkie right about now. But yeah, I mean, I I get a couple of questions every now and then from people who ask me, "Hey, you there? What are you doing? You know, how are you able to do this?" Well, for starters, it's called Be Born a Producer. Dub in the chat for all my producer friends out there. But on top of that, it's just it comes naturally, it having a flowing conversation is such a hard thing to do. Even now, I think it's very difficult, and that can be even worse if you have imposter syndrome, because imposter syndrome makes it so that, all right, am I even really good at what I do? Which I think actually would be a good episode to talk about. But anyway, that's just my 27 cents on it. I think, hey, at the end of the day, what matters is that if you want to get into this industry, just get out there, make some video games, plan your approach out accordingly, and just try to ensure that every single time you do something, you're gaining a skill or you're just doing it because you love doing it. I mean, really, that's about it. Not really much else to it. But, PAX East, it's nice. It's relatively affordable. If you live in the Massachusetts area, you could take the train in. You can opt for a hotel near it. I know the Omni Hotel actually is very decent for what it is, although it can be pretty crazy when you're trying to book out in certain areas. Oh, fuck. One more thing. If you're scared to approach a booth because you're on your own, I would highly recommend you get yourself a wingman like my friend Pablo. Like I said, Pablo and me, we were a fucking team. Pablo is already naturally charismatic, but me, I'm like the fucking point man. I point out, we go, he chats, and then I go from there. Be a little bit knowledgeable about games. And this is like my own thing as well. Literally, you can draw a comparison to the most outlandish game. If there is some, like, the developer can see what might possibly be a reference to that, then yeah, no, absolutely, fucking go for it. Like, I would make a reference to Silent Hill having the same dating sim stuff as motherfucking, what's its face? BioShock. Although, actually, now that I think about it, if you remove every single possible thing that makes a video game a video game as far as the genre is concerned, pretty sure BioShock would be a romance sim. Alright, that's enough out of me. You heard it here first. This has been Connor Talks Games. Honestly, keep it up. Do what you guys are doing. I love reading all the questions I get every week, every now and then, to two people who keep sending them in. Keep it up. I'll probably have another episode down the line. But yeah, that's me. This is Connor. You're listening to Connor Talks Games. Please be sure to follow our Insta and our socials at Project Cyclone. Check out our website at projectcyclone.com. And I hope that all of you have a good time.